Folks, welcome to another episode of So Bad It's Good. We are recapping the Traitors. And as promised last week, we have a very special guest, Bergie and I. We have the winner, or one of the winners of the Traitors Season 2, the one, the only, Trishelle Cannatella. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. Bergie, I missed you.
I missed you too. We got to get back together at some point.
Okay, I feel like you guys are traitors against me right now.
I'm sorry.
You were supposed to come hang out on my birthday, but you never came out.
Yeah. Oh, me. I think.
Yes,
oh, me. I was actually. I had COVID, but I mean that's neither here nor there. Okay. Yeah, it's a good. So Trishelle, I mean, you did win this game, and I think you are in a unique position, obviously, to speak about it and going that far, because this week. I thought it was like really thrilling because even the Traitors are turning against each other, but also the amount of, I think, discourse around the Traitors right now and like especially Colton Underwood and maybe things Colton Underwood has done in his past, which we've talked about on this show. But it seems like he's getting so much hate, and some of it, I mean, maybe is rightfully so. But Trishelle, what do you think of the game so far?
The game? I love it.
There's two games, the game and then the game like that happens after the show.
Yeah, I mean, I love this season of Traitors. I thought the cast was brilliant. I think that their picks for Traitors was brilliant. Well, except for Donna Kelsey. That was a flop. But yeah. And I think that maybe they just really wanted her to like kind of stay a little bit longer, and that's why they made her the secret traitor. But I like the concept of it. I wish that they did it with someone else. But their picks for Traitors, incredible. Lisa Rinna, it's like, you obviously think that she's going to be a traitor. So that sort of like does the 180 with people because they're like, no, that's too obvious. She would never be the traitor, right? In the beginning, you think that. Candace is just so intelligent. She's like flawless, and I like her on Potomac. And whoa, Rob is like a huge surprise.
I mean, Bergie and I were talking last week. I mean, I think if he continues to play his cards right, he really could go to the end. And he made a very difficult decision this week to go against Rinna at the round table. But this is a game called The Traitors where you have to go against, we're finally seeing it. The Traitors were lockstep. And this helps Rob's game, correct?
Okay. I thought it was an interesting move. It was a very high risk, high reward move because his risk was obviously pissing off Rinna. But if she went home, then he still has Ron and Colton in his back pocket. So that's a big reward. Do you know what I mean? And then they get a traitor. So it's like, Bergie knows this. Whenever you get a traitor out, it's like you can breathe for a minute. So it's sort of like, oh, we just got one. So the next couple votes are just whatever. You're just happy. You're like satisfied for a minute. But I don't like love the move just because I like Rinna.
Bergie, what do you think?
I think this is a good move by Rob because I think it just locks him in more as a faithful, unless Rinna comes back at him the next round table and just throws Rob's name out of nowhere. Like that's the only biggest risk that he has.
She's vengeful, guys. You watch The Housewives.
Okay, but wait. To Trishelle's point, do you watch The Housewives? I do. That is my main thing.
You don't want to piss off Lisa Rinna.
You don't want to piss off Lisa Rinna, but listen, a broken clock is right, twice a day, right? Colton was right to like throw Rinna out there. What Rinna, I think the Achilles heel for Rinna is that she is not able to ever give a good reason why she is not a traitor. All she does seems like she makes noises and she's like, if you want me to be Lisa fucking Rinna, I'll be Lisa fucking Rinna. But she then never says anything of specifics. And like Candace is so good at specifics. Mm-hmm. Candace even brilliant in the Ron of I'm staying consistent with my vote. I've never wavered. But Rinna is like, well, then you're a fucking traitor, Colton. You're a traitor. And there's never good reasoning with Rinna. And I feel like that is going to eventually catch her up. And then at the end of this episode, she got the poisoned amulet. And I'm scared to see, because she's not subtle. Lisa Rinna is not subtle. So how is she going to murder in plain sight?
I would love to see her just walk into that banquet and just go, here, Colton, catch this.
Oh my God.
Or just something stupid like that. Here, Colton, catch this. Or like, whatever. And just like, look at that. Isn't that cool or something?
I would love it. I just think too that once your name starts being brought up that many times at the round table, you're on borrowed time. Like you're going to be out soon.
You're not, there's no way for her to win this game at this point because all eyes are on her and there's so much heat on her. Like it's impossible to get back to 0 heat. Like even if she made it to the final fire pit, she would not be able to win this game, in my opinion.
There's too many. It's too many names.
If you watch the Traitors, it is not uncommon, and I'm talking about different versions and iterations as well. It's not uncommon for traitors to turn against traitors. Now, Rob is doing this in the I'm not the subtlest of ways, but he's doing this in a like, listen, my game, I'm buddies with Colton and I've been buddies with Ron, so it would not make sense for my game to throw myself out on the line to protect Lisa, but also to keep Colton there. Everybody should want to keep Colton there because the whole thing is at the end, you want to keep a faithful with you so you can completely backstab them and get the money, right, Trishelle? Because I want to remind people, Trishelle won.
Yeah.
Won and they had to turn against Mercedes at the final. And by the way, is Mercedes still mad at you, Trishelle?
No, she unblocked me. I don't know when, because like I just saw she was tagged in a photo and I looked and I was like, oh, I'm unblocked. I wasn't checking every day. But yeah, no. And also I tried not to turn against her. Again, people, it's so funny to me. People watching the show I'm sorry, a lot of the fans are kind of dumb. They don't get it. I'm like, are you watching the same show I'm watching? Did you not see that I tried to go just girls at the end? Like I voted CT out to keep Mercedes and they're like, she hates MJ. I'm like, you saw, right, the chalkboard. Like they thought that there was this whole master plan. It just doesn't make any sense. It's just stupid. People are kind of dumb.
Well, listen, I'm kind of dumb.
That's why I was so unlikable in the show, because maybe I'm a little bit arrogant. That's fine. I'm arrogant. I won the show, so.
But also, I mean, I want to point out, remember, like Trishelle is like a master poker player. Like you really have a really good mind for games. And I think it's a little different. Like Colton is playing a very fast, reckless, loose game. And it doesn't seem to have a lot of facts. And he's just charging ahead, even though he continually gets it wrong up until Rinna. Bergie, when you played with Trishelle in season 2, what was your vibe around Trishelle? When did you think she was a traitor? Did you think she was a traitor? What was your thoughts?
Yeah, so Trishelle knows this. I knew Trishelle was a faithful after we banished Peppermint, just because of how sad she was. She was like crying. She was just could not.
Trishelle was crying. That was at the very beginning of the game.
Yeah, so that was like the first episode. So in episode 3, you can see me pull Trishelle for a chat, and it's just her and I chatting outside. And then we start talking about Dan outside. So it was like right then and there, like I'm like, I really trust Trishelle, because no way you start the game off by gunning for someone and then just feeling absolutely sorry. So I was like, that tells me Trishelle's an absolute faithful in my mind. So then I was just like, I'm going to hang out with Trishelle until the very end of this game. If she got recruited, though, I would have been fucked.
But also, Bergie, you remember how stressed I was about getting murdered?
I do. All the time.
Telltale sign.
You're like, I packed my suitcase last night.
I did.
But I think that's what we want, is we want to feel like these contestants are like, it is make or break. We want to feel that tension. And I think it is starting to really ramp up this season, which makes it obviously more thrilling to watch. And there's a lot of like feelings. But then what's interesting is that I wanted to talk to you guys about the concept of there's the game, but then there's the game outside of the game once the show is released. And we're starting, like, we have so much information now through social media and through exit interviews where, Ron came out this week and says, he actually is taking tests and he is on the autism spectrum, Ron Funches. Mm-hmm. And he was also saying, like, because I was really disappointed in Ron for how hard he spoke against Dorinda a couple episodes back, of like, I don't want to know your fucking family. And I was like, whoa. Mean. But Ron said what we didn't see was that Dorinda said a lot of negative things about him that were not on camera to him. And how much of that, does that happen a lot in your season, you guys, where there was a lot of tension when cameras went down, or things that we didn't see that the audience?
I didn't think so. I thought everyone was really nice.
No, I think our cast got along really, really well. Like, even if we thought someone was a traitor, we still like hung out with them. So it's really, kind of depressing seeing how everybody's treating Ron because they think he's a traitor and nobody will even go talk to him. Because I know, Trishelle, you thought Parvati was a traitor and you would hang out with Parvati just because you're like, this is good for my game. Yeah, it's like, why?
Yeah, if she's a traitor, it's a game. It doesn't mean she's a traitor in real life. Yeah. But I knew she was a traitor. Yeah, exactly. I feel like, God, this season's a little bit nasty. I felt so bad for Ron. No, now that he came out on the autism spectrum, because I can't imagine what it was like at the roundtables like that. And him not telling people that and kind of explaining some of the way that he reacted or didn't react to things. And yeah, I mean,
I just always wonder how much we're not seeing, or how, like, are there all of these intense conversations and fights off camera? And like, that's what I was curious about. But you say for your season, there were not. So that's interesting.
There wasn't. Actually, I did find it interesting. Peppermint and I had like a half-hour long conversation, which Bergie knows that's very hard to do in the castle. Just she and I outside that I don't think they ever showed it. And I think it's because it would have humanized me too much and they don't want that.
Well, I mean, what you said is actually really interesting, is that you have to remember the edit does pick up on who people are. I mean, there is, but the edit also can steer you in a certain direction of how they want the audience to feel at a certain point. You know, I even noticed that with reaction shots when Rob voted Lisa, you see a reaction shot of Lisa and a reaction shot of Candace. And in my head, I was like, are these the true reaction shots in that moment? Or are they Yeah, I don't think they are.
Yeah, because there's also a moment at that round table with Natalie or something where she made a face. And I'm like, I don't know if that happened in that moment. It was like after the round table, Natalie made a face. And I'm like, I feel like that happened during the round table, not after the round table.
And also, I mean, were there ever camera placements, you guys, where the cameras, like in your season, would be on Trishelle? And Trishelle, were you ever thinking, get the camera off me because I'm a traitor, and like you're just focused on me right now because you know I'm a traitor?
Well, I wasn't a traitor. I was a faithful.
No, I mean, sorry.
Oh.
Yeah,
Well, yes, because remember Bergie in the beginning?
Yes.
Janelle's so damn smart. She's like, we need to look and see. I think it was Janelle or Sandra, one of the two that was
Janelle did it.
Janelle. She was like, we need to watch and see where the cameras are because there's 30 people in the house, or 22 people in the house. There's not enough cameras for every conversation. But when they have 2 cameras on like a 4-person conversation, I'm like, oh yeah, maybe one of those people's in front.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It makes sense too, because it's like if the traitor slips up and they don't record that and then you bring it up to the round table and they get banished, it's like they just missed that conversation because they didn't have a camera on it. So they have to have a camera on the traitors at all times.
That's another reason that I thought Peppermint could be a traitor, because we were having like a very not boring conversation while we were all eating, and there was only like 3 or 4 people in the room, and the cameras were intently on us, and I was like, that's so weird. So like, they were just small things, but you can't really say that round table because you're breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So it's interesting to watch these episodes air, and with Colton Underwood in particular, you know, his past from The Bachelor and coming out, and, you know, there was a stalking charge against his ex from The Bachelor, and a lot of people seem to be catching up to that. And so it's interesting, like, this show is one of the greatest gifts, I think, for people that are cast on the show, but then you have to actually deal with your past. And I wonder if Colton had thought that through, because people have very long memories and don't forget. And it seems like there is an avalanche of negativity towards Colton. And like I said, some of that deserved. But even Lisa Rinna seems to be playing a harder game of the traitors after the fact. She is out there tweeting, our friend Abby threaded, "This is who Colton thinks he's slick up against. Good luck, buddy." And it was Lisa Rinna with the, were people doing coke in your bathroom, scene from Housewives, Bergie, it's an amazing episode. And Lisa Rinna in a quote says, "Let's talk about you being a stalker," underneath that. And so now she's bringing this up about Colton, of like, this guy's a stalker, this guy's a creep, which is wild to do that after the fact if you played the game. We are now about to talk about my favorite underwear company in the world. Yes, of course, I am talking about MeUndies. You know what's better than flowers that die in 3 days? Matching underwear, of course. Seriously, MeUndies has cracked the code on Valentine's Day gifts with their matching underwear for couples. It's cute, it's intimate, and you will wear them more than once. MeUndies makes matching underwear specifically for couples. They have adorable prints, different cuts for each of you, all made from their signature ultra-modal fabric that feels impossibly soft. I'm wearing them right now. That's right. At this point in time, I now have 8 pairs of MeUndies. And my God, it really, truly helps me get out of the bed in the morning when I know I'm going to be wearing MeUndies. Unlike other brands just slapping hearts on generic underwear, MeUndies designs coordinating prints from the ground up. Now, their Valentine's Day collection has prints made for two. It's the kind of gift that makes you smile every time you put them on. Now, there's over 30 million pairs sold and 90,000 5-star reviews. People love these because they actually fit well and they feel amazing. Their first pair promise, a 45-day risk-free, means if your first pair doesn't work, and they're going to make it right. No hassle. Every style comes in coordinated prints so you and your partner can match. Boxer briefs, trunks, briefs for him, bikinis, thongs, boy shorts, cheeky styles for her. Same print, different fits. Valentine's Day, February 14th. So, if you want these delivered in time, order soon. This is the gift that keeps on giving long after the holiday's over. Make this Valentine's Day one to remember with matching underwear from MeUndies. To get exclusive deals up to 50% off, go to MeUndies.com/SoBad and enter promo code SOBAD. That's MeUndies.com/SoBad, promo code SOBAD for 50% off.
So a few things I think that not a lot of people knew, because I think that also Colton is a fame whore, a little bit of a narcissist, and very manipulative as a person. And so I think that looking back and seeing all the videos and seeing what happened, I remember that that was huge news and that he was doing all this stuff. Then he's like, surprise, I'm gay. And then everyone's like, oh my God, we love you. What a struggle. And then, which is whatever. And so then he was able to kind of change his narrative. And then he got another television show. And I think that made him in his mind be like, I'm untouchable. So he probably thought going onto the Traitors, he was just going to be so beloved.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it does come back. And so, by the way, I did make a story about this. It was so funny. He literally was like, I'm going to hold a traitor hostage. And I was like, what a wild thing for someone who was accused of stalking to say. I was like, sir, is that a threat? Like, you're going to hold one hostage? You probably have it in you.
Yeah, I'm going to put a tracking device on one of these traitors. It's like, dude, why are you being aggressive in this game at all? Like, that's what's scary, you know?
I was like, is he okay?
I think he completely forgot about his past. Because the crazy thing is, I never knew, like, I kept up with Colton's season. I was like a freshman in college, and like that's like the first season of The Bachelor.
You're young, Bergie.
Okay,
Get it.
But anyways, I watched that, and then I kept up with it until he got the stalking charge. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's terrible. And then I didn't know about anything about him coming out as gay until I started dating Taylor, and we were talking about it on Instagram Live. And then I was like saying all these terrible things, and the comment section was just going off at me. I'm like, oh, he's gay. Like, I'm like, he can't be gay.
Like,
he was on The
can't
Bachelor.
talk about him. He's gay. And I'm like,
and it's
okay.
like, oh,
well, but that's an interesting topic of conversation. And by the way, the show he got was he hosted a Hulu show about like, are you a virgin? And the thing is, he might have thought he was okay, but that show did not get a lot of attention. The Traitors is the #1 reality competition series on right now. So there is a huge spotlight. And I do wonder if, this is going to come up at the reunion. I think at this point, Andy Cohen has to actually say something at the reunion regarding this, because Colton, any interview he does, there is an addendum of you cannot talk about the stalking charge in any interview with Colton right now.
Yeah, and I'm really curious, like, is he going to back out of the reunion and just ghost it? Like, is that a possibility?
I mean,
like,
Trishelle, what do you do if you're him in this situation?
I don't know. I mean, like, I had a hard time. I didn't want to go to my own reunion, and I won the show. And
you took a lot of heat for the Peppermint vote.
By the way, I have apologized enough for it, and I'm done. And I'm not apologizing anymore. I have tried to reach out to Peppermint on multiple platforms with production involved. She has my phone number. She doesn't want to talk about it because she wants to be the victim, which is fine. But you know what? I am not the only person on our cast who voted Peppermint out. I did not have that much pull on day 2 or 3 to sway 90% of the people. Larsa and Marcus also said stuff too. They didn't get any hate. I'm sick of it. So
well,
they do.
Larsa,
They do.
forget
They
about
were like,
Larsa and Marcus.
Yeah, Marcus was the one that convinced me to vote Peppermint that day. It wasn't
exactly,
Trishelle. It was
wasn't
Marcus.
me. So everybody can F off.
But I
I'm
do want to
done.
remind people in a parasocial, I mean, we live in such a parasocial society right now, is that, you know, I mean, you really did, I mean, the amount of hatred went your way, even though you won the show. And I just don't think anybody listening or watching this really can fully understand what that feels like. I know for me personally, it would drive me into a psychosis. And I mean, I know you took it very seriously. Yeah, no, I remember talking to you around that time, and it was
death threats.
Very, very, yeah.
People telling me they were going to beat me up if they saw me in public. I was scared. I didn't want to go. I go to gay bars all the time. I was afraid to go to my favorite bars because of that.
Did you ever regret actually doing the show, even though you won the show?
I did. At first, I did. And, but here's the thing. Colton actually did something horrible.
In real life, not in a game.
That I thought was a traitor.
But he did that in real life, not in a game. I want to make that clarification. So, you know, at the end of the day, this still is a game. And I do find it interesting. It's almost like Love Island USA last season, is that once the show gets even more and more successful, there's more heat. And it seems like we watch parasocially. I've talked about this phenomenon in the last year. We watch through this lens of we get all of our anger out on these shows. And so it transfers sometimes
mostly
to these
on
shows.
Women.
But say that again, Trishelle?
Mostly on women.
Yeah. I mean, would you agree, Bergie?
Yeah, I would totally agree with that statement. Because
Bergie's like, fuck no, fuck, it's all men. Yeah, no.
No, I think of like Love Island, like the hate against Huda, you know, like what was that? Sierra, yeah. Sierra especially, yeah. Like they totally tried to cancel her, and like weren't they were calling like ice on her family and stuff, and it was just awful.
Horrible.
Could you? I mean, it just. I don't know. As these shows continue to gain popularity, it just seems like there is such a white hot heat on it, and the players that I do wonder eventually, like how casting will go on these shows, because I would imagine everybody wants to be on this show if you are a celebrity in some sort of way, but then you have to really think this through. And I mean, I think casting as well.
I don't think that casting should change. I think that everybody just has to realize and start calling out toxic fandoms and behavior of trolls on social media.
But how do you stop that, Trishelle? How do you?
You don't stop it. You just say, I don't give a shit, which is like where I'm at. I got off Twitter. Whenever people say stuff about me, I responded to somebody on Peppermint's Instagram today. I'm like, why you're adding me? Why don't you go at the other 18 people who voted her out? I'm done.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's interesting. You're still responding to people years later after the fact.
Because I deserve to defend myself. I do. Mm-hmm. And so I just think that the more people call people out, but it's like people want to feel sorry for themselves. A lot of it's just like bots and trolls. A lot of it's people that just don't do enough research. Like, I mean, I have been kind of tiptoeing around this, but there are men on our season, on seasons after, on Traitors that said, and the most homophobic and racist stuff ever, that tweeted it, said it on their own shows. And guess what? Look it up. It is scrubbed from the internet because their PR firms have done that. You know that.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
You know that, Bergie?
You don't know who I'm talking about?
Well, Trishelle and I have talked about this behind the scenes.
It's still on Reddit, some of them. But, I mean, I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I didn't pay a PR firm to scrub anything of mine on the internet, but maybe I should have, because people forget so fast.
They do, but I'm assuming that you're talking about Bergie and all of this, right? Bergie is a very hateful person. We all know this.
No, Bergie's like one of the only ones.
I know, isn't it great? Which, by the way, Trishelle, I wanted to remind the audience, I got so many emails and messages last week because Bergie, last week we were talking, and I said that Ron was wearing a Bill Cosby sweater, which, Trishelle, you remember the Cosby Show. And Bergie said, "Is that the guy that killed those people? Is that the guy?" He thought Bill Cosby and O.J. Simpson were the same person, which you're not too far off, but it was a very big difference.
It was both in the 90s, and it was both I know Bill Cosby had like a meme because he did something like sexually or something or whatever. I don't know.
You didn't know. It wasn't your time.
I love that he goes, Bill Cosby, he did something. Like, he had a meme. He had a meme. That's what he did. He had a meme.
Were people mad, or did they think it was
No. People thought it was the funniest thing.
I'm sure they did. Now, can you imagine if I said that?
Oh, my God. You're right. Yeah. Trishelle, can you say something about Bill Cosby right now? Yeah, no. So.
Honestly, that's what I'm saying. If
exactly.
I said something like that, there would be articles written about it. It would be horrible. But, Bergie's adorable. He's a guy. And people, that's just how they do.
No, I mean, that's a very interesting point. And I think those kind of dynamics, it is, thank you. But those dynamics actually, you have to pay attention to in the game as well, and how the game is perceived by the audience. And that's how we look at everything through that lens, unfortunately, still in 2026.
Yes.
Okay, to get into this episode 6, remember we had Michael Rapaport that left. Trishelle, what did you think of Michael Rapaport in his game?
I mean, I would have kept him along begrudgingly, like way further, because eventually somebody would have gotten him out. And it's like just an easy person to always bring up at the round table. That's not you. I think that I'm sure it was really difficult to live with someone like that in the house. As far as like the whole him and Colton thing, what he said to Colton, when I first saw it, I was like, like it felt purposeful. But then the more Michael's saying it, I don't know that he meant it that way. I don't know, but it felt ick. But then Colton, of course, being like overly like he was a victim. I'm just like, okay.
Well, Rapaport did go on Andy Cohen's radio show and said, I did not mean it like that. If I thought it was meant like that, I would have yelled cut. I would have yelled cut. And Andy says, you can't yell cut in these games.
Alan would have been like, what?
He goes, but I would have yelled cut. I would have yelled cut. So he is sticking to the story that he did not mean it in that sense at all. And that he is disappointed.
I think sometimes you got to take someone's word for what it is. And he can be hated for a lot different reasons. I personally find him hysterical. I follow him on Instagram and I think that he says funny stuff, but like, I don't take anything way too seriously.
So last week we had the introduction that Colton at the end of the game went to Dorinda and said, I got my eye on Rinna. What do you think about Rinna? She's being way too quiet. And I want to also just introduce the point once again that housewives are so entertaining. Like, truly, I love the housewives with all my heart, but I don't think they are the best game players. Like I said with Rinna, but even Dorinda, like sometimes they're great, but they're almost like, I feel like it's funny that there's such a collective in this group, because if you look at it logistically, they never make great game moves. Would you guys agree?
Bergie,
no? Yes, I was going to say I would agree with that, but I do think they're excellent entertainment for this show. And 100%. I'm just trying, but I do think Candace is playing a brilliant game. Like, I think Candace is doing really well. Lisa, however, like we've seen Lisa, like Candace has had to stand up for Lisa, because who was it in the hallway? I think it was Kristen asking Lisa, like, who do you think is a traitor? And she said Ron, but she didn't have an explanation. And then Candace stepped in for Lisa. So I think Candace is doing a brilliant game right now. And I don't want to say none of the housewives have played brilliant games, just because we haven't seen really anybody have the opportunity yet.
Dolores played the worst game of Traitors last season, and she was one of the winners.
Right. So I have sort of a different opinion as far as I think Dorinda is playing a low-key good game. Like, honestly, no one's looking at her. She's just like,
that's true.
Her breakfast. I mean, that's where you want to be. You want to be like under the radar for like the first half of it. And so I think that's really brilliant. Another thing, I think they're murdering too many housewives, because think about it. It is a statistics and numbers game. Statistically, all the housewives there's at least one in the turret. Everybody knows it. So the more you're getting rid of, the less amount of people, and eventually it's going to get to you that people are going to start looking at. So they need to stop murdering the housewives, keep who's there. If Rinna goes, Candace is so good. Like, she can go to the end.
Well, and at this point, though, I think from here on out with future seasons of the Traitors, the housewives don't murder housewives bit is done. You can't say that anymore, because Rinna now is proven that you will murder housewives. Caroline Stanberry's gone. Portia's gone. So that rule you have to throw out the window. Would you agree, Bergie?
I would agree with that to a point, but I also think For banishment, though, like Natalie brought it up, like why would you banish someone from your own show? And I think going forward, like you're gonna have to be very careful. Like if I go on if I were to go on Traitors again, and there's another person from Love Island there, I have to be really careful if I'm going to banish them really early on, because that's going to look suspicious. It's like, why is Bergie banishing someone from Love Island? Why wouldn't he make an alliance with that person?
God, I was just thinking, if I make a lot of money in the future, can I pay you guys to play a game of Traitors with me for like my birthday or something like that? Like, forget Cameo. Let's play to have experiences with you guys where you play the game with like just normal folks.
I would love
to do it. We did it on a cruise.
We did it on a cruise.
The cruise of deception.
We did that.
Okay, so the ladies come in for breakfast, and it's like Maura, Kristen, and Rob at the beginning. And Trishelle, the great salmon debate. Did you ever get a piece of salmon at the breakfast table? Did you hear that, folks? That is Olipop. Now, Olipop is a new kind of soda that combines the classic soda taste with the benefits of a functional ingredient blend to support digestive health. Olipop is truly reimagining soda with high fiber and low sugar. And the exciting thing is that they are launching their new limited edition flavor, Shirley Temple. Olipop's take on the Shirley Temple is like the classic you remember, but brighter, bolder, and made with real ingredients that you can actually feel good about. Now, the original mocktail, they're releasing this just in time for Dry January. It's the original mocktail that's made not drinking fun, and it's a flavor everyone can feel good about. Olipop has quickly become my favorite new thing to drink. That's really good, and it supports digestive health with real ingredients and less sugar. So, here's what you do. Get a free can of Olipop. Buy any 2 cans of Olipop in store, and they're going to pay you back for 1. It works on any flavor, any retailer. Now, you got to go to drinkolipop.com/so-bad. Olipop is sold online, drinkolipop.com, plus Amazon, and it's available in the soda aisle and with the chilled beverages at thousands of retailers nationwide, including Walmart and Target. Trust me, folks. You are going to love this.
I'm not a big salmon and cream cheese person. I like my salmon cooked. I'm a little bit weird.
Okay, but the salmon seems to be a huge topic of conversation immediately at the breakfast. And Bergie wanted to point out too, Kristen Kish is a top chef, but we never talked about this moment from a few episodes ago. Bergie, do you want to share this moment?
Yeah. It was just her buttering bread, and then she there's a new TikTok clip out there somewhere where she's complaining about like, you don't know how hard it is to butter bread. And I found that also really funny because she's like, sometimes I just didn't have the right knife. That was the excuse.
So funny, like without trying. She's pretty witty, I think.
She really is, yeah. But like if you guys watch her buttering that bread, it does look like she's killing the bread.
I know, I saw that clip.
I'm like, how do you cook your anyways? Maura is like, do you think we're going to still go for Ron? And Rob's like, yeah. And Maura's like, I love how Maura just traitors. Traitors. You hate how Maura speaks?
Yes,
what?
But
are you insane?
Because I am from Cut Off, Louisiana, which is arguably one of the worst accents ever. But yeah, I don't know. We're just like traitors. Like, me and Joe just pause it and just say it. I mean, she's a beautiful girl, obviously. But yeah, it just bugs me.
Then we have Tara, Candace, Lisa, and Mark come in. And this was when I was just like, if I wish I could get Lisa Rinna's audio track, because it's just noises. It's just, oh, ooh, ow, oh, ooh, ow, ooh, ow. Oh my God. It's just noises with Lisa. It's so funny.
Her during the challenge in that episode too, she was just making noises. Alan even called it out. She's just screaming all over the place, even though she's just in the graveyard.
Exactly. Yeah. They're like, she's screaming for no reason. Lisa says that in a talking head, now that Michael's gone, we lost a great distraction, which Trishelle pointed out. And Lisa says, I got to sprinkle a little Housewives into today. Johnny and Stephen Coletti, who is a mute in this entire, I mean, by the way,
my husband's like, wait, who is that guy?
Yeah, Stephen is playing in a silent film right now. He only says a couple of things. Bergie, do you think this helps or hurts his game? Because to Trishelle's point, this could he's really under the radar. He's a faithful, but, he's not really stepped up in big moves.
Yeah, he's getting like a Lord Ivar edit / he's just going to get murdered one night and he did absolutely nothing. So I think in the game of Traitors, yes, it's really beneficial, but it's such an easy murder for the Traitors right now because he's done absolutely nothing. And then
he's kind of like that in real life too.
Is he? And then I also think like,
wait, you know Stephen Colletti in real life, Trishelle? Whoa!
I did live in LA in the early to mid 2000s.
I always forget that. Wow, yeah, I forgot. Yeah. Anyway,
I'm gonna say this: I lived in an apartment with a girl and another guy. And one morning, my roommate, who was a huge fan of Laguna Beach, woke up and was like, "Is that Stephen Colletti getting coffee in our kitchen?" And I was like, "Mm-hmm."
Okay, perfect. Enough said. Right. So wait. Can you confirm or deny? Does Stephen ever make noises or talk more than one sentence at a time?
He's very quiet. He's very quiet, very pretty and very quiet.
Johnny Weir introduces the fact that 8 people can control the round table if you have the right 8 faithfuls. And then everybody walks in, so that means nobody took a shield. I was kind of surprised by this. I thought Colton would have snuck off and got a shield, but we find out no shield, so no murder. Is that what you thought, Trishelle?
I did.
Yeah.
We for sure thought that Colton was going to get one, especially because Candace is so smart. She was kind of like, hey, I mean, like, we could all get one. Like, I love that she said that. Yeah.
What did you think, Bergie? Did you think somebody was going to grab the shield?
I'm actually shocked that nobody tried to grab the shield, but at the same time, I think it would have put them up for banishment. So I'm also not surprised that they didn't go for a shield.
Yeah. So
I don't like Natalie kind of bullying everybody about the shield. She's like, okay, can we just agree that you're gonna be banished if you get a shield? Like, I would have been like, no, we cannot agree to that. I do not agree to that.
But at the same time, I appreciate Natalie comes from like a game player survivor background. So it's like a move. I mean, it's definitely a move. It's something that people will obviously be annoyed by, but it's like trying to control the situation and the variables. So like she's actually putting something out there that we have to follow, and there's some sort of rule, like a game player likes, to have a rule in there,
Mm-hmm. Another thing I thought was smart is that getting back to are we going to talk about Colton Renna again?
Yeah, we're going to go through the episode, but please say whatever you want whenever you want. So
no, I'll wait. I'll save it.
Okay. So they flash back to the night before in the turret when they find out no murder, and Lisa says, obviously they're going to go for Ron at the round table, and Candace says, well, we might have to murder Colton because he's talked so much about you now, Lisa. And then Lisa goes, I want to slit his throat. And I'm like, Lisa, like sometimes the player, like this is like, how Portia in her season did it so brilliant, like with your season, she did it so brilliantly, like where she was like saying evil things in the turret, but it was so funny because she was like, but Lisa, it's like, I want to eat his liver. It's like scary. And I'm like, you don't have to actually kill them, Lisa,
She's so excited to be there.
We get back to breakfast. Alan comes down in a new little skirt number, and Lisa's like, oh, yes, honey. Colton says to Dorinda, oh, this is my question for you guys. Did they tell you where you have to sit at breakfast?
No. Yeah, you just go in. They told us not to hug each other.
I didn't know if they purposely put Colton and Dorinda next to each other at the breakfast.
No, I think they just chose to sit there. Because I remember it was weird. Sometimes people would skip like the first 2 seats. Did you ever notice that, Bergie? Like for some reason, and then all the seats would be filled, and I'd be like, crap, because I was always at the end because people were freaking trying to murder me. And so I was like, oh, damn, now I have to go to the front. And then they're going to be looking at me like, did she come in early? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, and then you have to walk all the way around the table. And it's just that awkward, like you're walking in front of the table instead of behind. Or you can walk behind everybody. I think I did that more often than walk in front of everybody. And you're just shuffling behind chairs. And it's like, excuse me.
Yeah.
And you got to go like 20 chairs down.
And also, Trishelle, I think I already know the answer, but for the audience, did you guys have glam teams? How did you do your makeup and wardrobe?
No. That's what was so shocking about Phaedra, because she's so she's just stunning in general.
Yeah.
But that's what made me think twice about her. All the evidence I had her pointing to her be a traitor. I was like, I know that they stay up and they film later than we do. She looks so good. That was the only thing that made me think she wasn't a traitor, because she was so hot every day. I'm like, how?
Wasn't there a day where Shereé didn't like finish her makeup or something, and Janelle pointed it out, and like we have to banish Shereé because she didn't finish her makeup? There was something about Shereé with that. Yeah, because she didn't finish her makeup.
Colton tells Dorinda, like, hey, how are you feeling about Lisa? And, keep an open mind and observe Dorinda. And I know you're loyal, but I think you might have blinders on. And Dorinda's like, of course, me and Lisa are friends. Colton in his talking head's like, my gut feelings is that it's Lisa, but I lost my goodwill after the Tiffany vote. And I have to figure out what's best for my game. Wouldn't at this point, Colton, if Colton was smart, what's best for his game is to shut the F up. Wouldn't it
Yes. That would be the best. Well, after the Tiffany vote, like when he came back for Michael, like that, he put himself way too out there. Yeah, like he needed to shut up after the Tiffany vote. He should have just backed off. Like Trishelle did an amazing job of doing that in season 2, where she just gunned and then she's like, "Nope, I got to shut the hell up."
I said I was so wrong that I need to shut up for like 2 round tables.
I mean, that's the thing too, is that like, I just imagine those votes would like affect how you play the game for the rest of the game, but Colton is still going to put the pedal to the metal, not learning really a lot. At the kitchen, what's that, Trishelle?
I have a theory on that.
Yeah.
Because after I watched it, I was like, maybe that was a smart move. I think that he's so convinced that Rinna is a traitor that by overly calling her out, it saves him from being murdered.
I feel like that works until Rinna gets out. Because then if I was Rob or Candace, it's like, all right, now he can go. Because
Well, also, you guys, at this point, since Rob made the move he did at the end, Lisa in her head, like, I think Candace is obviously really locked in and smart about this, but I think Rinna is now going to be a little more reckless because she's like, fuck it. If the traitors are turning on each other now, like, to our point earlier, I think she's going to do something crazy that she doesn't tell Candace either.
I agree.
I think she might turn on Candace. Like, I've been predicting that, though, for the past 3 episodes.
Really?
So this is not a spoiler, but if you pay attention online, somebody pointed this out, is that the only person Candace doesn't follow is Rob on Instagram.
I wish I didn't know that. Now I'm thinking all these things.
Well, I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Like, did they go to the end? Does Rob and that's what, if any producers are listening to the show of the Traitors, you've got to make sure that nobody unfollows each other. You've got to stay followed until the end of the season because that gives us clues.
Yeah, on our season, we weren't allowed to follow each other until a certain point in time.
Or is that what they just told you, Bergie, because nobody followed you?
That's what they told me.
I immediately followed Bergie when I got it. Wow, that is very interesting.
Yeah,
God, there's so many sleuths out there.
That's what I'm saying. It's crazy. Dorinda is pointing out that Ron is playing a weird game because sometimes he's nonverbal, observant and quiet. Other times he's speaking, which also
now we know
exactly. Yeah. Steven says, "Does anybody have anything on Ron that says he's not a traitor?" And Rinna goes, "No. All she says is no 5 times. She doesn't. She's just reactive. She just goes, no. And this is where I also wondered, to the point of cameras pointed on somebody, they make it seem like Colton has a hawk eye on Rinna. But it is so obvious that I'm like, did this really happen in the moment, or is this just clever editing? Like, did you notice that? They had like Steven just like hawk eyeing Rinna in like the one shot?
I missed it.
Yeah, like Colton was like in Rinna, just watching Rinna go, no. And Colton's just like watching Rinna. And
I believe that he did that because I feel like he was playfully trying to intimidate her, like in a playful way. Like, I think he was just like, that's not the girl that I know, like the housewife. He was kind of being funny, but like he was like, she's a traitor.
But if you have a stalking charge in your past, I think playful might read differently to the audience,
Actually,
like I think
yes.
I
contradicted myself from earlier.
Like, all the clips I've been seeing online is like his crazy eye looks that he's been giving Rinna. Like, he's like going in for the kill, and it is a little creepy when you look at that TikTok edits. I don't know if it's that crazy in person, but I think we'll find out the reunion.
He really is. He really is.
It is unbelievable. I've seen people making like statements online and it's getting like 200,000 likes, like going against him.
I'm actually a little shocked by that. I will.
Yeah. But Colton in a talking head says he's, going to vote for Ron tonight, but he's worried that like he's the perfect setup to drag along somebody, that he's obviously a faithful. We cut to Ron and Rob playing chess, and Ron is like, who do you have after tonight's vote? Because I know I'm going. And Rob agrees that he's going. And he says, in a talking head, where he says to Ron, it's tough once you get to know people. It makes things more difficult, but it's a game at the end of the day. And then I think this is a little bit of a mistake. He goes, anyone hear my name? And Ron says, never once. And then Rob says, people think I'm just some dumb guy from Alabama. And I almost thought this is like, This is another thing of like kind of throwing it out there that it's like, just let us pick up that you're smart. Don't tell anybody in the game that like, oh, I bet you think I'm dumb, but I'm actually smart.
I think that the producers kind of let him to say that because they asked me stuff about like poker and stuff. Like they'll be like, so, people think you're like a dumb guy, like an interview, like say that, like, kind of just guiding how he got there.
I also think he's building a relationship with Ron, but he also knows Ron is going. Like he, even said that to Ron's face. So I think he's like, feels like he can open up to Ron a little bit.
Yeah. But Ron says, I don't think you're one bit a traitor. You would be good because you think steps ahead. You think of your family. You're a good representation of what the South is really about. And he said that warms my heart truly. And it really was this heartwarming moment between these two guys. Folks, I have a question for you. Imagine if edibles just made you feel good instead of too high. Wouldn't that be great? It's consistent, mellow, and super delicious. Lumi gummies are specifically designed to make you feel good, not stoned. So whether you're looking for an end-of-day de-stressor, a midday mood boost, or help getting the best sleep ever, Lumi Gummies has a strain right for you. I have been taking these the last couple of weeks to help me. If you listen to this show, you know I have trouble sleeping, and they work so dang well. I actually look forward to going to sleep now. Lumi Gummies are available nationwide, so go to lumigummies.com, that's L-U-M-I, gummies.com, and use code SOBAD for 30% off your order. 30%. Again, that's L-U-M-I, gummies.com. Use code SOBAD. lumigummies.com, code SOBAD.
That's very sweet. Yeah, I really love that. God, Rob, he's so likable. He really is.
I hate people like that are that good looking and smart and like he's got everything. And he plays with snakes.
Tell me about it.
People can play with snakes.
I know.
Bergie goes, tell me about it. Rob says that Ron is an introvert and he's always the odd man out. And growing up like that can be lonely. The loneliest place for those people sometimes are in a crowded room. And I thought that was dead on.
And see, that's what I'm talking about. It's like no one really spent enough time with Ron except for Rob to kind of understand a little bit his personality. And then he comes out and says this. And I just like wanted to cry because I'm just like, God, that must have been a really difficult time for him. Because I know I'm pretty extroverted and I'm definitely not scared of people. And it was hard for me at the round table.
Yeah, I mean, I just look at Ron and I hate how his experience went because it looked like it was so hard and miserable in that game. And when I look back at my time in the Traitors, like I had the best 3 weeks of my life. Like I would go back and do it like I would spend my whole life in that castle if I could, like just repeating Traitors over and over again. And to see Ron having a bad time, it's just like, it breaks my heart because it's like, that should be a fun experience. And it looked like it was miserable for him.
Bergie pissed me off so much in the castle because he was like, he just had the best time. But he said, because we were all up for murder or whatever. And he's like, I'm okay if I get murdered. I just had such a good time so far. I said, don't tell people that. The other will feel guilty. I was like, Bergie, don't say that.
The other problem with that is I thought my life had changed, Trishelle, at that point in my life because I just got off of Love Island. A week later, I'm in Scotland on Traitors. I honestly thought I was just going to be doing shows back to back to back to back for the rest of my life. And now that... Yeah, and now that I know that I may never do another reality TV show again, if I'm on a reality TV show, I am fighting for my freaking life every day in that castle or wherever I'm at because I took it for granted. I didn't know that's like a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so I took advantage of it.
I love you so much, Bergie. I love you. You are like one of the purest people that I know. I need a Trishelle Bergie road trip show. Like, screw the Housewives road trip. I need you guys doing a road trip. So Mark Ballas says, we're looking at Ron more than Colton, and Colton is reckless and he's running things. Kristen says, dude, Colton is the ringleader right now. And Johnny says, I have a strategy, but he includes Candace and Rob in on that strategy of the 8 faithfuls, which is
Love
like,
it.
he's like, these people, these 8 people, we got him. And he includes Candace and Rob. Colton and Natalie are talking. And so Colton's like politicking about Lisa and says, I'm on Lisa. And here's why. It is unspoken rule. You don't go against a housewife. She's not acting like the Lisa I know. And then Colton says, and Dorinda said the same thing to me, which I want to point out. Colton led Dorinda into saying that. Colton started that. Dorinda didn't come up to Colton and say Rinna, but I like how he's done that a couple times now in the game where he'll use somebody else's name as this person backs me up. You know, you're the one that introduced it.
Yeah, and it's like when you ask someone, like, should we get this person out? And they say yes. Guess what Linda just told me or whatever. She told me we need to get this person out as you just ask them a direct question.
There's a lot of that telephone game going on too. It's just like, and then the stories change a little bit and you're like, wait, it's a lot of that. And because honestly, it's kind of boring sometimes, especially like you're just randomly going into different rooms. Like,
yeah, like how many hours do you get like after the breakfast scene? How many hours do you get before you have to go to the challenge?
About 1, maybe.
Yeah,
like,
and then after the challenge, how many hours do you get before the round table?
About 1.
Or Larsa, 0 negative time because it took her 2 hours to take a shower. Get ready. Honestly, I was just like, they're like, well, you're not going to have time to talk to people. She's like, I'm good. She's like putting on her eyelashes.
Oh my God, that's classic Larsa. Colton says, trusting people is this. Colton says, pay attention to who sticks up for Lisa when I say these things. And trusting people in this game can be really dangerous. I need to make sure I tell enough people about Lisa. So if I get murdered, all eyes will be on Lisa. Lisa and Dorinda and Candace come in, and Colton says, oh, wow, the housewives sticking together. How convenient.
They don't like that.
Yeah, and he directly tells Renee, he goes, I'm glad you don't have sunglasses on today, Lisa. I can look in your eyes. And Lisa's like, what would you like to see? And Colton goes, my future. I was like, what a weird guy. He's like, my future. And then we cut to all the cast are driving over. Colton's driving with Dorinda, Tara, and Rob. And he does, if I'm not at breakfast tomorrow, I shared with you, Dorinda, that I think it's Lisa. And Rob's like, Lisa? And he goes, I don't want to distract from Ron, but Lisa is, not who I thought she would be. And, what do you think, Rob? And Rob says, it's plausible. So that's our first, like, oh, is Rob like wavering now with this vote, right?
I loved that answer.
Plausible. Yeah, it's just a one. But see, he's already that strong, silent, mysterious type where he can get away with one-word answers, where Lisa, I think it's very suspicious with one-word answers. But
yeah.
Wait, Trishelle, is that also... Sorry, now I'm just like basic feminism. Is that like a male-female thing too? Is that we suspect women for being... sorry, I'm trying to make more of this than...
Well, no. Because women are kind of seen as erratic, and at the round table, they said I was doing too much because I was like, I wrote notes, which I was doing a lot. But yeah, I think that is kind of more women are like that. But,
yeah,
Colton's a little loud, but I think for the most part, you can get away with it more by being like the strong, silent type, like Rob.
Yeah, but I think he really is like that in real life, too.
Yeah, I think it just has to fit your personality type. Like if you're out of your personality type, that's when it becomes suspicious.
Well, I watched him on Love Island and I felt like he was like that. I was like,
yeah,
this guy's
remember
so
on
boring.
Love Island, Trishelle, when to escape, he like jumped in the pool, took his mic off, and then hid underneath the pool? Do you remember that scene with Rob?
I don't remember that.
Oh, so funny. He like jumped in the pool and then he like swam under like the covering like and hid. It was so funny.
Him and Leah got in a fight and he just hid underneath the pool, underneath like the walkway, and just sat there for like who knows how long.
Oh
so
my God.
We get to the cabin and I was like, welcome to my return of my captivating cabin in the woods. Are these challenges really scary, you guys? Because these people are screaming like their dear lives are about to be taken from them.
If you don't like bugs in the dark and being in claustrophobic places and being surprised and scared, yeah. It's like, I thought it was hardcore in the cabin.
I was so bummed out because I've always wanted to do something like Fear Factor or whatever with having bugs dumped on me and like rats and whatnot. And I was like, I'm going to go on the show and get to experience that. The day I got murdered is the day they got to go to the cabin. I missed out. I was so bummed.
You would have liked it.
We can throw some bugs on you, man. And also, Fear Factor is Johnny Knoxville hosts it now. It just like premiered last week or this week.
I was promoting it on my Instagram.
Oh, okay.
I saw that.
So it's back.
Thank you, Bergie, for reposting.
Yes, no problem.
So what do you think of this game, you guys, where it's like, you get clues in the cabin and then it corresponds with the tombstone. You can bank 3,000 in the prize pot. And there's like 6 different games here. What did you guys think?
I really love games like this where you have to mentally think in the moment, where it was just giving them letters or the time on the clock to put together what is on the tombstone. I thought that was a fabulous challenge because not only do I like like I love watching it as well as like playing it, because like I'm playing it at home, if that makes sense. Like I'm trying to figure out what that could mean.
Yeah. I thought it was so funny when Candace was like, because I'm very much like her. She was like, "Oh, good, it's an indoor challenge," and I was like, "Oh God, I hope it's not the cabin." And then they went to the cabin, and I was like, "Poor Candace."
They get the first one wrong because Candace doesn't stay around long enough to hear the clue. They all decide because of Natalie to not take the shields, but Jam Jam and Mora go out, and Jam Jam's like, there's the shields. Can we take them? And Mora's like, no. And Jam Jam seems upset, and Mora's like, I'm tinking traitor. Because Jam Jam was like pissed. I don't know. Rinna keeps screaming. No one takes a shield at the end of the day. And then they head back to the castle. And Ron says, unless there's a miracle piece of evidence, I will see my amazing kids and my girlfriend soon. And that's sad because I'm really starting to enjoy you guys. And Rob says he doesn't. Rob says he doesn't have it in him to vote for Ron. I want to keep him around much longer. So this is what you guys have spoken about before, the personal aspect of the game as the show continues. And, we heard from you, Trishelle, that you were even in the beginning upset about your Peppermint vote, and you were really upset about that. But how much, that's what this game really takes off, is that the personal aspect of these relationships, right?
Well, I was upset because in the beginning, I just saw every single person as competition because it was I didn't get to know anybody at that point when Peppermint went. Then later on, I got to know Bergie more. I got to know everyone's personal background. But when Peppermint got up there and she was talking about being a trans woman and all that stuff, I was like, oh shit, like she should have stayed in the game. Like she had a real platform more than I did. I had none. And so I felt really bad about taking somebody who had something to say and for other people to see her in that position. So yeah, we didn't get that close, but that's what I felt more guilty about than anything. But
also the relationships continue to grow for the rest of the show.
I would have never voted Janelle ever. I don't care. I would have never voted Janelle. I would have never voted Bergie. Peter, I tried to defend him. Yeah, I never voted him either.
What about you, Bergie, personally? Because you would have never voted Peter, right?
No.
Yeah. If I was standing at the final fire pit with him, I'd be fucking going. I would be spinning. I would be spinning so much because I'd be like, okay, did he get recruited or did he just tell me he didn't accept it? Because that was a big conversation. Kevin came up to me. He's like, what do we do if we're standing at the final fire pit and Peter's there? And he just kept us along for the ride. And I was just like, I'm like, I hope I get murdered or banished before I even have to worry about that. Like if Peter, I was really concerned about that. I was like, if I'm standing there with Peter, do I trust him or did he take the recruit? So I don't think I would have banished him until the final fire pit. And then I might have done it, especially if MJ was there. Cause I would trust MJ way more than Peter just because I knew MJ was a faithful by the way she acted and had no idea what was going on. I would always finish the game with MJ.
My ulcer would flare up completely. I would not be able to handle any of this. But also, it was so thrilling in season 2, that final fire pit because you and CT Trishelle had such a history that it worked on I love Mercedes, but it worked on a kind of funny level because Mercedes was really she did not, she was shocked. But also the CT, your relationship, if you followed you guys through the years, there was this amazing relationship that the Traitors were able to highlight. And so I thought it was just this best, the best. Even though, like I said, I love Mercedes, it was the best way to end that finale because you saw this relationship between you and CT.
We have over a 2-decade past.
Yeah.
CT and I. That's a long time to know someone.
Well, that's why I can't believe more people aren't on or thrown out the Tara Lipinski Johnny Weir relationship because they're besties.
I know. I think they're doing a good job of making other relationships like Tara and Candace are close, which I think is really good. Tara's putting herself in a good position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Mark says he's going to lead with Ron today. Colton, Johnny says Colton is more dangerous. We have to do it quick though, because he's going to hear. We have to rip off the Band-Aid and get on Colton. Dorinda comes into the kitchen, hugs Rob and says, I love him in this shirt. And Candace goes, oh, well, Mora loves him too. Rinna says, are we thinking Ron? And Candace says, I'm still on Ron. And then Rob says, I don't know. And then the edit gives Lisa giving a look and Candace giving a look. And he goes, I don't know. I'm just starting to think more and more that Ron is not a traitor. And Candace goes, really? Why? And he goes, I looked him dead in the eyes and it seems like he's not lying. And Candace says in a talking head, Rob, what the fuck are you doing? We were literally planning it. You are going rogue, which, yeah, I mean, this is an easy layup for the traitors, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think just that relation aspect with Ron, it makes it so hard to just get rid of him.
Well, it makes it, but that's what I'm saying. Now, I mean, I don't begrudge Rob doing this, but and by the way, do you guys think that Rob in the back of his head is playing like 4D chess right now, where he's thinking like, this is the moment. I do have to break away. I also genuinely like Ron, but I know in the end of the day, this actually will strengthen my personal game.
I do. Thought that.
Yeah, I think this whole episode, he was thinking about strengthening his personal place in this game. I personally think where he should have went is he should have backstabbed Colton in this moment. He should have joined the Johnny Weir alliance of 8 and just ran that round table with them and like pick one person off at murder in that like group of 8, and then there are 7, and then just keep picking them off and they vote someone else out. That's where I would have went.
I wish that he did that, but he's right. He was like, it would be too suspicious because everybody knows that like Colton's like my guy. Like they're in a kind of an alliance, which I really didn't realize, but he said that, right? Didn't he say alliance?
Yeah, he did say that, but unless you're Rob, like the only other way to go would have been to pull Colton and say, hey man, I'm really starting to waver on you. I'm starting to worry. I love you as a person. Like we are really getting along, but like, and actually just act that scene out with him and say, I'm having doubts. This person made me thought this. So it sets up the round table of him voting Colton.
But because paranoia runs so rampant, you don't let anybody know that.
Yeah. What I would have, like, the best way to go about it is just tell that group of 8, we got to do it. And then just banish him without even giving him a chance to think about it. Like, you just go to the round table and you just banish him. You just do a complete blindside. Don't even talk during the round table. And you tell the group of 8, we're not even going to talk during the round table. We're just going to let everybody else talk. And then when we vote, we just vote.
But would they let you do that? Will production let you not talk at the round table and just vote?
I think I feel like talk for a couple round tables.
I feel like you were vocal.
Actually, now looking back, I talked at every round table.
You were good, yeah. But I feel like in the group of 8, somebody would have said something. There's always like the one.
Yeah, exactly. There's always one breakaway. Yeah. Okay, so Johnny is trying to pull people. He pulls Rob and he says, if we have 8 faithfuls, we can control the table. And Rob's like, this game moves too fast. And he's like, we're thinking Colton. And Rob's like, guys, this feels crazy. We have a gut feeling and then we switch it up. We're doing it again. And so he's like, they're fucking planning a coup against Colton out, to take him out tonight. It took me by surprise. If I vote for him, it's not going to look good for me, but I don't want to vote for Ron. This game sucks. Colton walks in the kitchen and he stares at Rinna creepily and he goes, I need to talk to you. I'll talk to you in the billiards room. He goes, I need to talk to you. I'll talk to you in the billiards room. And it is so wild. And Lisa, he pulls her aside and he goes, he says, I'm going to try something really dumb, but it could protect me for the rest of the game. Obvious choice for a murder. I'm going to try to hold a traitor hostage. And Colton goes, Lisa, I'm going to vote for Ron.
Choice of words.
It says, I'm going to vote for Ron tonight. I want to win this thing with you. And Lisa's like, huh? I will protect you at the round table if you protect me in the turret. And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm faithful. I'm faithful. She just keeps saying, I'm faithful. And he's like, something's not adding up for me with the Portia vote. I'm just telling you where my mind's at. And she goes, you're barking up the wrong tree because I think you're being really good. You're being really good. And in a talk about
good Rinna.
Yeah, Rinna, he goes, he thinks he's so cool, trying to try to throw me, but he's a big mess. He's a big voice at the round table, and the round table can turn on a dime. I don't like it at all. We don't actually see them leaving that scene, which I would have loved to have seen. Like, how did that scene end?
They might have just been like, okay, guys, it's time to like go line up.
Yeah, because I was like, how did Lisa extricate herself from the situation? Like, was Colton like, okay, I'll see you at the round table? But it was so funny. Ron goes to the round table. He wants to present himself as the man his sons will be proud to see. Johnny wants Colton. but he doesn't want to get murdered for making the wrong choice. He's like, the law of the round table, majority rules. Look around you. Who would smile to your face and stab you in the back? Who are the traitors? Players, the floor is yours. Hey, guys, has anybody ever nervously farted at the round table? Did that happen ever?
Not on our season, at least while I was there.
No, but the very first round table, do you remember Bananas took one of the gold pieces?
I do remember that.
Pissed Alan off so much. Bananas was just being a clown and like took one of the gold things that was set up for like production set and like dropped it on the round table to be funny. And of course, everyone's like, ha ha ha. And Alan was pissed.
Alan snapped, and I'm just sitting there.
He like yelled at him.
What did he
and
say?
We had to redo everything.
Knock it off, Bananas.
You said, this is my castle and you cannot screw around in my castle. And he went like on a 2-minute lecture. And I was shocked they didn't make the final edit because I'm like, Alan just ranted for like 2 minutes and it didn't even make the cut.
That's not scripted. So Alan's improv. Chastising.
And then Bananas got murdered right after.
I was like, do you think Alan had a say in that? We were all jokingly saying, do you think Alan had a say in that murder? Like he went in there, it's like murder Bananas.
Right? Yeah, because he was already being too much. Too extra.
Yeah. Well, Ron says, anyone got anything? And there's quiet. And he's like, well, we got to use the time. Mark jumps in and says, Ron has been taking a beating 4 nights in a row. We had the Portia vote, and you swung a lot of votes to Portia. And then Tiffany was next, which was Colton. And you hopped on that, Ron. And so based on my feelings and information from the last 4 days, I would go for you, but I'm willing to hear reasons why you're not. Which Mark Ballas is thinking critically. He's just thinking very wrong.
I have a question.
Yeah.
At this point, who does Rob think is a traitor? Like, who is he? Is he throwing any names around?
Nope.
Rob? No.
Yep. Didn't have to. He doesn't have to. He's so
That's
lucky.
So interesting. He's so lucky. But when Dan didn't do it, we were all like, that's weird. Dan's like, the time will come when you know. And I'm like, he's a traitor.
Yeah. Well, the crazy thing is, too, I sat really close to Phaedra. I think there was like one person in between us. I'm trying to think who sat to my left. Was it Shereé? No, she was to my right and then OCT. But anyways, Phaedra was to my left. And I just remember during the roundtables, it'd be like, Phaedra, who are you thinking? You haven't said anything yet. And I'm like, how did I not pick up on Phaedra not saying anything in those first couple roundtables? I don't know if you remember that, Trishelle, but we would ask Phaedra, what do you think? You're the lawyer. Like, what do you think?
I feel like this haunts.
Like I'm waiting to see
Bergie.
or something.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you get haunted at night. Like you wake up in a cold sweat, Bergie, with like things that you should have done differently in the castle. I almost said all 3 traitors' names in episode 5, and I didn't. I almost did. I was going after Parvati and Dan, and then Dan asked me, who else do I think is a traitor? And I almost said Phaedra, and I didn't. And that kind of haunts me. I'm like, that would have been such a great TV moment. I was like the first one to call out all 3 traitors, and I didn't. I missed my opportunity.
Wait, I had one other question. Oh, who was the one who switched it to Tiffany? Because okay, by the way, you guys, early predictions, I picked Tiffany to go to Fire Pit. I was like, she's smart. I think she's savvy. She's likable. I just really thought that she was going to make it far. And I was like so shocked when all of a sudden, I'm like, whoa, wait, huh? So was it Colton that switched to her or who?
No, Colton gunned for her.
Colton
was the gunner.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
But you know what's so interesting is that they do have Peacock extras that you can watch. You can watch Michael Rappaport and Tiffany. It's revealed who the traitors are, and they were both shocked. They were like, "What? What?" And Tiffany was especially shocked about Rob. She was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like this, And Michael Rappaport's like, "The snake charmer, the fucking snake charmer." So Ron says, we've all made mistakes here. No one has voted correctly. Every time I've been very consistent. If I like you, I like you. And if I don't, you know it. And Dorinda says, well, the game's not about liking somebody. And Ron says, well, we just can't participate in a way that is respectful to Dorinda. And Colton says, your banishing would provide more answers for us. And then Ron goes, but why do you feel that to your end? Because you've gotten it wrong. You've gotten it more wrong than me. So Ron throws it at Colton, and Colton's like, with what? And Ron goes, because we don't like Michael, we don't count it. But since it's Portia, we're still on me. I don't think that's fair, which is such a valid point.
It's a great point.
I thought Ron controlled this roundtable so well, and he was the most logical at the roundtable, and nobody else made sense for the most part.
he actually convinced people to change their votes during his actually talking. Like, that's what you want to do, is be able to actually change minds. And you were watching it in real time. So it was thrilling. And at this point, I was like, oh my God, Colton's going home tonight. And Kristen says, if we're going to hold Ron accountable, I'm going to hold you accountable, Colton, for swinging the vote to Tiffany. I feel like you
Wait,
drop
who said
names.
that? Kristen.
Kristen Kish said that. She's like, you drop names and then you reverse engineer it. And Johnny says, Michael muddying the waters, putting so many names out there, Colton, you do a similar thing with putting so many names out there. I feel like a puppet. And Eric Nam says, you rush into it and it just gives me pause. And Maura says, if you were traitors, it would be dangerous because everyone listens to you, Colton. And Colton says, I'm playing recklessly and bold, but I'm playing as a faithful, not a traitor. And Rob says, I believe you. Rob, why did you throw in right? And Rob goes, I believe you in that moment. You could have said nothing.
I don't know. I feel like you have to say something at the round table. And I think he's got that strong relationship with Ron. I think he built it. And I don't know. I really enjoy that about Rob, though. And I don't think it destroys his game necessarily, because I think other people could really see that Ron was a faithful. And I think it looks more faithful to just be like, I really trust this guy. You guys, like, we can't just banish him to banish him.
There are some people, I feel like, and I'll tell you the one from our season that I thought about this, that are very strong but silent people that just for some reason people gravitate to, trust, and listen. And when they say one thing, I feel like people's mind are changed. And on our season, it's crazy because he got murdered so early. I thought it was Marcus Jordan. I thought
really
he held back a lot, but whenever he did say something, it was super like a valid, good point, and people kind of listened to him. I don't know. I thought he has like a leader personality, in my opinion. I mean, I know personally a lot of people, but I liked him.
Yeah. Until he got the DUI recently.
Well,
I still love him.
He's a good leader.
Mistakes.
Jam says we were sure that Donna was a traitor, and what Ron did was to protect Donna, I think. And Candace says, if we were to banish you, Ron, it would give us clarity. And Ron says, well, it just goes around in circles. But if I want to be a real faithful, I'll let you guys write my name so you can know it's for real. I would love to go around the circle and say goodbye to you before this wraps. And it goes around the group, and it's very sweet. It really is this like kind of, he's very genuine. He's very sweet, and he's going around. And at this point, Natalie goes, fuck, I don't think he's a traitor. He doesn't go, I don't think he's a traitor. And I do find it funny that he didn't get to Dorinda. Like, they went into another, because I would have loved to have heard. I would have loved to have heard what he said to Dorinda, but it got stopped before Dorinda. And Tara stops it. And Tara Lipinski goes, can I say something? I don't know if this will get me murdered tonight, but it's not Ron. And Natalie agrees. And Ron says the only thing productive is to find out if you're a traitor. No, Rob says the only thing productive is to find out if you're traitors or not, but I don't think you are. So now Rob has gone on record. He doesn't think Colton's a traitor. He doesn't think Ron's a traitor. And so then this is where I thought, everybody goes against Colton, but Colton speaks up and it says, if we're looking for a name to get off Ron, which is very smart as Colton because he knows the tide is turning towards him. He goes, I'm just going to say it. I try to have a conversation with you, Rinna. I don't know much about housewives, but I know one thing. You don't go against a housewife, and that first night vote has never sat right with me. I believe you're a traitor. And then Rinna goes, I believe you're a traitor. I believe you're a traitor. And he, don't you think this was effective, though? Because it does get people starting to talk about Rinna at the table.
Oh, yeah. Well, I definitely think he needed to do it.
It's obviously going to be one housewife. They always do. So I don't understand why like Mara and like all these other people aren't like, let's just freaking vote out a housewife. I guess it's because they like them so much. I don't know.
Are you allowed to say that, Trishelle? Are you allowed to say, guys, I've watched every season. It's there's got to be one housewife.
Well, we did do a lot of that.
Did.
I think it was you, Trishelle, in the library. You had Phaedra sitting next to you and Shereé. And then you said, I think it's at least one housewife. And then you and Shereé were going at it. Was that you or was that somebody else?
I don't remember. I don't think that I told them to their face until I was kind of like on Phaedra.
Yeah, because someone said that in the library and they were both sitting on the couch. And then I was just in the background going, holy shit. They said the wrong thing to the wrong people.
Might have been me. I don't know. But I was like, look how many are here. It's one housewife. There's probably 3 or 4 traitors. Like, guys, it's numbers.
And also after last season, hopefully everybody watched last season, you'd think after the traitors just murdered all the housewives, you'd think they would pick a housewife to protect the housewives for this season. That would be where my mind is at.
Who was the traitor housewife last season?
There was none.
Oh, there was none. Oh, so then I'm wrong.
That's why they're getting murdered. Yeah.
I would have still just continued to.
I mean, I think Phaedra was such a big presence in the turret the second season, your season, though, that it's, and she played it so well. Rinna says, Natalie says, I would never vote against a Survivor player night 1, so I am suspicious of you, Rinna. And Rinna's like, I felt sick about Portia. I felt sick about Portia, but Ron convinced me. And Colton says, I did too, but I'm not a housewife. And Rinna says, I went with my gut. I don't care. And Candace says, we're doing it again. Distraction. And Colton says, you just sat back sheepishly. And Rinna says, I'm a faithful. It's all she can say. And Colton says, if you're going to come for me, come for me. And Rinna says, I'm not going to dance on a table. I'm not going to break a wine glass. I think you're a traitor, which at this point, I was like praying that Rinna did break a glass. I was like in this moment. No, just to have be like, you want to see a fucking traitor? Fuck. And I would have broken a glass right there. It would have been so iconic.
I saw people saying she should have just splashed the water on him, like just threw her glass and put water all over his face.
I was waiting for that housewife. That's a housewife moment. If you want a housewife moment, here it is. And I would have done that too. So maybe that happens at the banquet. But Colton says, everything is telling me it's not Ron. And so we're like getting on this good clip. And then Alan, now is the time to vote. So he cuts it off at that moment. And Rinna in a talking head goes, that was a fucking tornado. Colton is a rabid dog with a bone. And I just said it about Rinna. You might love her, but she's horrible at any sort of real defense. That's my really big thought. Rob says, this is extremely difficult to me. I'm weighing my options, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to write Colton. I don't want to write Ron. And I don't want to write Lisa. But this is a pivotal moment of the game for me personally. But Colton is super important to my game. So he does realize Colton is important to his game. So he is playing a game in his head. And he's thinking about his place in it. So Alan says, Rob, I'm sorry, I have to hurry you because he's like struggling with the vote. We go through the vote. Tara's for Colton. And they show reaction shots of Johnny and Lisa seeming happy. Then Steven votes for Ron. Ron votes for Lisa. Maura votes for Ron. Lisa votes for Colton. And Colton says votes for Rinna and goes, we finally got the real Lisa to come to the table. Only taken a few days.
Oh,
and
God.
I mean, what a little, make it a little moment. And Eric votes for Lisa. Candace votes for Ron. And Ron says, thank you for being consistent to Candace. Johnny votes for Colton. Kristen votes for Colton. Yam Yam votes for Ron. Dorinda votes for Ron. Natalie votes for Lisa. So it's 5 votes for Ron, 4 votes for Lisa.
All over the place.
Yeah, 4 votes for Colton. So it was like neck and neck. So Ron is in the lead with 1 vote.
Yeah, I was just going to say, this is what I was expecting, like, for episode 3 when they did the episode with Donna. I'm like, how did everybody just gone for Donna? Like, that made no sense to me. Like, as a collective whole.
She must have been an obvious traitor, and the editing hit it. She must have been so obvious.
Yeah. Like, nobody votes unanimously like that in the early season. Like, this is normally how it's supposed to go. And this is like
almost everyone voted for Peppermint except for 1 or 2 people.
I think 4 or 5, but
was it 4 or 5? I thought it was
because there was the John. People were voting for John too. It was Peppermint and John.
Oh, John.
Yeah.
So Rob is the big one, and Rob says Lisa. And he goes, Ron, I believe you're telling me the truth. As a faithful, my job is to get traitors out of the game. And he says, sorry, when he reveals Lisa. And so Lisa, there's a shot of Lisa, there's a shot of Candace. Mark is the deciding vote, Mark Ballas. And Mark says, I voted for yourself before they went to commercial. I voted for yourself doesn't even make sense. He goes, I voted for yourself. And he voted for Ron. So Ron has to go to the circle of truth. And he says, this was very hard for me. I felt not trusted. I understand this world is completely fake. Hard to see someone. So it's hard to see someone real. I spoke my truth no matter what, inside and outside of the game. I am truly a faithful. And then Alan says that he's going to hold a great banquet tonight. And we'll drink and celebrate life, the greatest gift of all. And everybody seems pretty deflated. And Rinna says to Colton, turns to Colton, if you want to see a housewife, Colton, I'll come out. And Colton says, finally, thank you. Let's get this feistiness this time. And Rinna's like, if that's what you want, Colton, I can do it like that. That's not who I am, but I'll do it. And Johnny Weir says he's breaking out into hives. And it seems like a mess at this point. And Rinna says Rob's got some splaining to do. Rob says, I really want to be a faithful, I guess, at the end of the day. And then he goes, this is about to be bad for Robbie Bobby. This is about to be real bad for Robbie Bobby, which I was like, oh, what a meme. Also, you realize Rob's accent is getting thicker as the show goes on?
I haven't noticed that. I didn't.
It's like, I feel like it's like really coming out. Rinna's arguing in the other room, like saying, I don't think you can label people like this person is supposed to be like this. And Colton comes in and Colton's like, I've been in this business for 36 years. I am so much more than a housewife. And he says,
I'm Lisa effing Rinna.
Yeah, I was expecting more from you. Well, don't expect me to be a housewife. I'm Lisa fucking Rinna. I was Lisa fucking Rinna before, and I'm Lisa fucking Rinna after. And Colton says, to the traitors in this room, if you don't like me, I will go after a shield every chance I get, so use your opportunity to take me out tonight. We then cut to the turret, which, do you guys think they filmed this turret scene before or something? Because it makes no sense. The turret scene reveals that they have to murder in plain sight, but there's no talk from Rinna to Rob of like, what the fuck did you do?
Wait, we didn't finish the turret scene though.
At that moment, right after this happens, they cut to the turret, and Lisa had never talked to Rob or Candace yet, so you would think there would be this big like, what the fuck did you do in there? Except we have that scene after the turret.
Yeah.
They met in the kitchen before that, though.
No, they meet in the kitchen after. I mean, they might have done that in real time, but in the edit, they go to the turret, they talk about the cursed amulet and who has to wear it, and Rinna says, I can wear it, I can do it, which I'm like, I don't know
and
if
she
you can
says
do
that. Okay, yeah.
And Candace says, we have to pull off a heist, and there's like so much tension right now. And then we're in the kitchen. Then we go from the turret to the kitchen, and it's all three of them. And Rinna says, I don't trust you right now, Rob. And Rob's like, I'm really fucking sorry, but I really trust Ron and Colton. It'd look bad for my game. And Colton says, it wouldn't look bad. What you did, we were one vote out from putting our shit on blast. And this is the moment where they show in the edit Kristen and Johnny Weir, and it makes it seem like they're headed for the kitchen, but Bergie said that's completely fake because you know the layout.
Yeah, like Kristen was heading in the main hallway with the knight, and then she turned and went to the library, and then Johnny Weir came in and he headed to the main entryway. So Johnny Weir was closer to the kitchen than Kristen was, and they were still I don't know, maybe 20 feet away from the kitchen.
I know, but they need to be careful. I was just my butt was clenching so much whenever they were talking, and I saw people outside. I'm like, they need to be quick. I mean, yeah. Just scared me. I was like, they can't be seen all together because I want them
if you see a 3-person combination, I think you would immediately, and especially if they don't talk a lot in the actual castle, aside from that, you would start suspecting.
That's me.
There was actually a moment where Shereé and I walked in on Dan, Sandra, and Parvati, and then I went, oh, those are the traitors right there. So I thought there was always 4 traitors. I thought it was Dan, Sandra, Parvati, and then Phaedra too.
Yeah.
That would have been a good mix right there. Still Sandra in there.
I love Sandra. Ron says the game doesn't end tomorrow or the day after that or the day after that. The game is about longevity. It's like if I turned on those people, it would be suspicious. Candace in a talking head says we are stabbing each other in the backs. I don't even know if it works anymore to take Colton out. Do we need to find another target? How do we pull this off? And Candace says it's up to you who you murder in place side. It's up to you. They say Colton needs to go, but don't know if it's the best option, don't know what to do. We see Lisa put the brooch on, and then we get the next time on Traitors. In 1440, a great Scottish king had a banquet for royalty, but just before dessert was served, they were served with their own demise. A little kiss of history repeating, and we see some quick flashes. Colton's outfit is insane. He's wearing I don't know, pearls around his, a pearl bodice and some kind of tiara, and we see everybody preparing, and then we see 2 ladies, it looks like, tackle each other. Did you notice that in the trailer?
I noticed that too. It was just who's tackling who?
Yeah. And somebody was blonde, and I was like, is that Tara Lipinski? It looked like a blonde, longer
Maybe she was
person.
Holding Candace back.
I mean, maybe. So, I mean, this is
They're
what.
friends.
Wait, Bergie, what were you about to say?
Oh, I just really hope Lisa goes in and it's like, hey, Colton, you'd look good with this, and just toss it to him. I'd love to see like Colton just catch it or something so stupid because I feel like you could pull it off super easily if you just go in and you start it off like right away. You're like, here, Colton, have this, and then he catches it, and then you just don't do anything with it.
Can you write your own name down at the round table?
No,
you
I heard Kate told me this. She wrote her own name down in season 1, and they wouldn't let her do it.
Kate Chastain got it.
Yeah, from Below Deck.
Okay, so that's the end of this episode. So, we talked overall. I thought it was a solid game. What did you think, Trishelle?
I have one more thing that I was thinking while we were talking. I think that Rob and Colton have we didn't catch the conversation on camera, but I think that they made a final fire pit deal. That they would take each other to the end. There's no reason that we haven't seen enough conversation with those two for them to be so loyal to each other. They have a final deal.
We saw the relationship between Ron and Rob, but we haven't really seen the proven relationship between Rob and Colton. You're right.
They whispered off camera. They didn't catch it, and they made a deal. I'm telling you. That's why. There's no reason for Rob not to go against it.
Is it really? I mean, is it possible to do whisper conversations away from cameras in this game?
You're like, I got in so much trouble. I would not stop talking about the game, and they're like,
"Me too." That's
they're like,
really
"Bergie,
pretty
go
girl.
sit." Yeah, Bergie, go sit in the corner over there. Peter, you go over there. Janelle, like they had to keep me away from everybody because all I did was I just wanted to keep playing the game. I never wanted to stop.
But also, I mean, the thing is, if I was Colton, I would have been suspicious with anyone making deals with me because that a traitor can turn on you at that final fire pit and then take all the money.
Or they can just I was just going to say, or they could just murder you the night before the finale and just, you're not there anymore.
Like Sandra. Well, like Sandra got voted out. Oh, no, she got banished. Shereé got murdered. Shereé.
Yeah. You could be like a Shereé. You could be like making maybe a final plea deal with the traitor. And then it's like, yeah, we'll take you to the final fire pit. And then, they murder you just right before the finale. So you don't even get to show up.
Okay, so I mean, there's also a longstanding rumor that eventually there will be an All-Stars Traitors. Trishelle, would you go back?
Yeah, I would. I don't think they'll ask me though, but I would 100% go back.
And Bergie, I know you wouldn't go back, correct?
Yeah, because I just even if they asked, it would just be like, I don't think it'd be as good as the first time.
I know. Bergie will go back in a heart, but we got to get Bergie back on TV. Trishelle, what are you up to right now? How do we support you? What's going on? I mean, like, listen, if you follow Trishelle on Instagram, she's out every day, and it's been like this for years. She's always at something, and all these events and charities and all of this. Yes. What are you up to?
I'm tired right now because I had a Mardi Gras ball last night, my first one. I'm going to several. I'm going to DC next week for DC Mardi Gras, which is nuts. But so I'm trying to be more involved in the community. One of our good friends just was elected and inaugurated as mayor of New Orleans, which is wonderful. And so there's a lot of things that I would like to get more involved with as far as like women in the community and the victims of assault and things like that, and trying to help out with that, and just being involved in our city. And we volunteer a lot. We're involved in a lot of charities here. And then I also play poker still. I'm going to is it Uruguay or Uruguay? My husband said Uruguay. I don't know. I'm going there at the end of February to play a poker tournament. Mm-hmm. Yes, with ACR Poker. And so they're an online poker site. And so I'm going to rep them with one of my friends. And I still have a couple possible shows that are in the works. So yeah, we'll see.
Is it Fear Factor?
No, I already won. I already did that.
We could go back together. I would love to. Fear Factor.
I'm actually, I think, a decent partner for Fear Factor because I'm just like, I'll do anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just maybe some little shows here and there.
Yeah. Well, go follow Trishelle if you don't already, and support it. I mean, especially women with assault and those kind of things. Post everything you can about that because people do need to hear about that. Bergie, what have you got going on? How was school this week? How's life?
School is good. I have a lot of homework to do today and tomorrow, so I'm not looking forward to that. This was a good break, and yeah, everything's going good. If you can click the link to my chat BCC, that would be amazing.
Did anything happen in Chat BCC this week? Anything of note?
Not that I can note. A lot of people picking on Colton. Now the hosts are actually kind of picking on Colton as well with how his gameplay is because it's so reckless, and I think a lot of people don't like how reckless he is. And then you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I've been posting a lot on those recently. So go
Bergie's
ahead and give me a
great
follow.
on TikTok. Bergie has so many great ideas and conversations and thoughts and all that. Go follow him every platform you can. And Trishelle, it has been wonderful. Trishelle, please come back on to talk about Housewives or
I would
Bravo
love
at some
to.
time.
Yeah.
Because we got Summer House coming up.
Kyle and Amanda broke up.
Kyle and Amanda broke up. Well, by the way, they sent me the premiere. I watched it last night, and it's really good, you guys.
Can't wait.
It's already just crushing. So, okay, you guys, we will talk to you next week for another exciting episode of The Traitors.
This was so fun. Love you guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.